Live from New York, it's Ask This Engineer over here.
Hey everybody, welcome to Ask This Engineer right here.
Yeah.
This here is the engineer, this is Lady Ada. Over there is Mr. Lady Ada, otherwise known as PT. We have an exciting show. We're broadcasting live from the Adafruit factory headquarters in downtown Manhattan, where we make, manufacture, ship, test, design, everything, basically.
Yeah.
We don't sleep here, but we're kind of close to sleep here. We have a lot of stuff on the show tonight. Tell them what's on today's show.
On today's show, the code is IWNY in celebration of Internet Week New York. 10% off everything in the Adafruit store up until 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. We'll talk about the show and tell. Show and tell was massive. That's why we started the show 4 minutes late, because
Too many people showed up. No, just enough people showed up.
It was a great show and tell. One of our best.
Yay.
Packed the mailbags and stopped by. We've got some open source hardware news. Some fun announcements. We've got some amazing tutorials from the Adafruit Learning System, over 491 and counting. Time Travel Tuesday, we're going to talk about a famous, interesting thing that happened in the maker or science past. Wearable Wednesday, wearable electronics from around the world and more that are just fit to wear. 3D Thursday, all the news that's fit to 3D print. Pi Day, we got a special video from Colin's Lab.
Yay, Colin's Lab!
New products, answer your questions, I have a trivia question, all that and more on, you guessed it, Ask an Engineer.
Oh yeah.
All right.
4 years plus.
Yeah, the longest running live electronics show in the world.
I think it's the only live electronics show.
It's the only live electronics show, I think, right now.
All right.
That's okay.
Okay.
I can't wait till there's a plethora of electronic show that you could flip through your Chromecast and see.
Oh yeah, you can watch this show in Chromecast, right?
Lots of people, they take...
What's
cool is when you get this new type of technology like a Chromecast, people take photos of what they're watching. So people send us photos of the Chromecast in their TV with us looking back at us.
And you can dial in as if it's YouTube. That's the future. The future is shows on just YouTube and you watch them Chromecast.
Yeah.
Very exciting. Okay.
Yeah. Okay,
let's
go. Paying some bills. The code is IWNY.
What's that?
Internet Week New York. You spoke
Internet
there.
Week New York. Okay.
Yeah, you spoke there yesterday.
What is that? Was like this week or next week?
All week.
When was all week?
It's a week.
This week.
It's Internet Week.
This
not Internet
week.
Month.
Just 1 week.
Not Internet Year.
How come mothers only get 1 day, but Internet gets a whole week? I guess we spend more time on the Internet.
Yeah, I think Internet's kind of taken the place of parental units.
All right.
Sorry, I call them out. You see them. Quick note: we still take Bitcoin. If you got Bitcoin, better spend them.
Okay.
So we got that going on. We have our free deals going on still. $99, you get a Perma Proto half size, and $200 or more. Free UPS ground to the continental USA. It's a good deal.
Could you pick up like a 3D printer, like a printer bot? Free shipping, free doodads, all good.
Okay, so Lady Ada, the show and tell, which we do every single week, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. People can look for it on Google+.
I wrote it.
What did people show off on the show and tell this week?
Let me talk about what was on the show and tell this week. We had a jam-packed show. It was full of jam and peanut butter and Internet of Things. First up, Tony DeCola came by with a project he's working on for the Hackaday Space Contest, which I'm judging. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to be judging him because, well, I mean, not that I judge him, I judge the project. I judge the project, not the maker. That's what I always say. Yeah. But he's entering the space contest at Hackaday. If you don't know about that, you could go to space or win like hundreds of thousands of dollars in prizes. Go to hackaday.com to learn more about this space contest. We're running the next like 6 months. So you have plenty of time to have a good project. And it's about like, what is the theme of the contest? Just like internet? Electronics? I don't even know. There's some theme. Anyways. Space. So, pardon me. He made an Internet of Things DIY service. So instead of like using an online service that exists, such as Xively, also known as Cosm or Patchbay, or Carriot, or Electric Imp, or any of the other many services that exist out there, he's like, well, you know, I can use a script that will auto-deploy a personalized Internet of Things service using MQTT, which is like machine-to-machine communications. He's using a Raspberry Pi with a Flask web service that you can like go to this website and it'll use like the internet server to pass data back and forth. Because one of the reasons that I think the Internet of Things services are kind of required is oftentimes, like nowadays, people they have cable modems or like Verizon, Fios, and so you have like a firewall that you know keeps you can get out, but you can't get data to come in. So if you want data, just want to send data to something in your home, you need to have an external service that kind of does the message passing. And so that's basically what he built, this message passing service that sends you know data back and forth. And he controlled his LED necklace with this Raspberry Pi project. So I don't know, he's a pretty good competitor in this project contest. So if you want to enter this contest, better get started because he's already started his project. A little scary there. Okay. Hopefully he'll win. Noah and Pedro, also known as Pixel 3D, will do 3D Thursday with us, showing off the project that'll be live tomorrow. Although it's probably live now. It's the NinjaFlex printer bot adapter thinger that you can print on this printer bot, and then you snap it into the printer bot, and it allows you to print with NinjaFlex, which is their favorite filament. It's this flexible material that we also have at the Adafruit shop. It's so cool. It's great for wearables. It's like the white stuff is flexible and diffused, so you can use it with backlit LEDs and such. Check that out. Check out tomorrow, 3D Thursday. Noah came in with a Raspberry Pi Minecraft server that uses a PIR sensor, and he built a fortress in Minecraft. And the fortress doesn't have any doors, and there's no way to open the fortress. The only way to get in is if you activate the PIR, the infrared motion sensor on the Raspberry Pi. So this is a really cool combination of a Minecraft server, a Raspberry Pi with a sensor connected to it, as well as a web service on the Pi that talks to Minecraft. So pretty advanced Minecraft hacking.
Okay.
Pretty intense. Next up, Lon is still working on his game show system. Has come by a couple times in the last few years working on this pretty hardcore system. Kind of give us some feedback about you know, using resistor ladders for button pressing. He says he doesn't like it as much. He's also showing off some NeoPixel goggles that he built and is building for a steampunk convention, and his sister wants to sell at this convention, and they're going to have lasers on them. It's pretty cool. Rick has a 3x3x3 that's 27 LED NeoPixel cube that uses only a single wire, which is really kind of nice. And this NeoPixel cube can be controlled with a trinket. And it's actually already a tutorial on the Adafruit Learning site. So if you want to build your own LED cube without a lot of the messy wiring, this NeoPixel cube is definitely the way to go. So check out the NeoPixel cube project on Learn. Thank you, Rick. Victor Frost, which has the best audio setup ever. He's a professional podcaster. Sounds really good. And his cousin or nephew, can't remember, brother, I don't remember exactly who, some young family member broke one of these little crab bots that they got at Radio Shack and told him, hey, can you make this do something? So he combined a Arduino Micro, one of these little robots, and some batteries and some other components, and a breadboard to make a cockroach bot. So this robot doesn't move when it's light out, but as the light gets dimmer and dimmer, it senses the light and starts moving around more. There's just like those little bugs that scatter away when you turn on the light.
I like these bots that mimic
Yeah, biomimicry. Oh, he also made a like 300-watt bike stereo with lights. This is a really cool project because he was fined by the campus police for riding around on a bicycle with his headphones on. Yeah. So instead, he built a 300-watt bike stereo. It weighs like 20 pounds, and it mounts onto the back of his bike. I love bike stereos. I know that not everyone likes them, but I think that there's certain situations where a bike stereo is cool. And riding on campus, as long as you're playing like good music, I think it's okay.
Okay.
Danon came in with a motorized tank toy that he's Arduino-ifying, as well as a glasses-mounted headlamp. So it clips onto his glasses, and it's like a 1-watt LED. It's super bright and lights up his workplace so he can work on his motorized tank toys. And then C. Scott played us out with some OBX hacking, showing off his modular oscillation and cross-modulation oscillation. Lots of analog going on there. It was definitely voltage-controlled, whatever it was. I also got a peek under the hood of an OBX.
Okay.
Those things are crazy.
Yeah, so that was the show and tell. Everyone on the show and tell receives an as seen on the show and tell sticker. Support@adafruit.com. Email us and you get a sticker. We send it out. Lady Ada, how do people get on the show and tell?
If you want to show off your project on next week's show and tell, and next week's show and tell will be Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So you have plenty of time to work on your project, maybe get it demo ready. Show it off at any state, go to our Google Plus page at plus.google.com/+Adafruit and comment on the thread there that says comment here to get added to the show and tell circle, comment there, and just say, hey, I'm not a spammer, I actually do want to get added, show off my cool project. We'll add you, and then every single week you'll get invited to show off your projects with a really cool, fun group of people who show up sometimes every week, sometimes once a year, sometimes first time ever.
Yeah.
And show off any kind of project. Doesn't have to be electronics, doesn't even have to be Adafruit related. It can be pretty much anything cool and makery and hackery. We get fashion projects, 3D printing projects, electronics, bike projects, all sorts of stuff going on.
It's the most fun that you can have in a half an hour using Google Hangouts.
Yeah, pretty much.
I believe.
I mean, assuming that you're like under 18.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, next up. Some announcements. If you're ordering stuff from Adafruit, don't forget Monday is Memorial Day, and everyone except for Lady Ada and I are off. And there's going to be nobody here, and there's also no shipping.
Yeah,
so
there's no pickups.
There's no postal or no UPS or nothing.
It's a holiday.
No deliveries.
The building is actually closed. The freight elevators are closed.
Yeah, everything's
so there's
closed.
no deliveries and no pickups.
It's closed. So if you want to place an order, make sure you do it before 11 a.m. on Friday this week. And if you do it after 11 a.m. Friday this week, it will not ship until Tuesday.
So just be aware of that.
Okay. So
even if you're not American, this still counts because we're American.
Yeah. One reminder too, if you're on a Air Force base or a military base, military base,
APOs, et cetera,
and you're in the U.S. military, we've always shipped to you for free.
Yep.
And we
you
always
get free
will.
Priority shipping.
Yeah.
Always.
No
matter what you're
ordering. What is the abbreviation? AFBO or ABO or something like that?
There's APOs.
APO, yeah.
And then FPO. I don't remember all of them.
Yeah.
I don't want to screw them up because it's been
a
while. It's been a while since I was in the shipping _ module -PHP file, so I don't remember the exact name.
Okay.
But we had all of those, even if they're not on American soil.
Yep.
Then they get free shipping.
Okay, next packet mailbag is stopping by. Hi guys, I have something for you. He stops by. And this week's letter.
This one's short.
Was sent in from Tim V1.
Thanks Tim V1 for being short.
Glad to have discovered Adafruit.com. You folks have interesting and fun stuff at reasonable prices, excellent support, quick shipping, and reasonable shipping prices. Thank you, Tim. That's actually...
We are so reasonable.
That's actually what we strive for.
We strive for reasonableness.
Yeah.
Reasonability.
You and I did have a conversation the other day, and I was freaking out about how good our shipping rates are right now. I said, this is incredible. This is unbelievable.
I said, it's not unbelievable.
And you're like, this is.
You can't say it's incredible and unbelievable because all we've done is work over the last 4 years to get the best shipping quotes.
Yeah.
Improving our shipping speed.
Yeah.
Has same-day shipping for orders before 11 for ground and express mail UPS.
So someone was comparing our rates, and they luckily they compared a bunch of other sites, and one company was charging over $11, and we were charging like just under $7. for the same exact thing. Even our package is going even further. $4 difference in shipping. So anyways.
We negotiate really good rates.
Yeah.
And pass the savings on to you. And not only that, but we negotiate really good rates. We only have one shipping service, so actually it lets us get better rates.
Yeah.
Because because it's a volume. The more volume you do, the better rates you get. We can now ship a UPS ground package, which is tracked, insured.
Yeah.
You get a tracking all the way through, and they redeliver. It doesn't sit at the post office.
Yeah.
You'll actually get it to your doorstep for like $6, $7.
Yeah, and the research we did, there's other low-cost forms of shipment. There's this thing called like SurePost, but that's a different service that gets handed off and there's no tracking, and still about the same price. So I think we did a really good job. Anyways, I could talk about shipping forever. In fact, sometimes I think I talk about shipping a little bit too much.
Sometimes I'm like, Phil,
yeah,
we should not talk about shipping so much.
So anyways,
one
other thing, if you're a Adafruit fan and you go on our blog, we just deployed a new version of our Captcha, the very popular Resistor Captcha. It's the only one in existence. So if you want
this is more flat.
Yeah, if you want to comment on our site, you have to solve this little resistor. Very easy. We have.
Did you see the chess one?
No.
There's this chess site where you actually, like they say, like type in the move that like causes checkmate. Like they'll show you like a chess.
See, this is getting cool.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that's
cool. And the
cool.
thing is, I was like, oh my god, that's really hard. And I don't like no chess. But then after all, I was like, oh, I see. Like if you move like the rook one spot. I mean, it's like they're not like complicated. It's not like 3 moves to like to like mate or something. It's like it's a pretty straightforward thing. Cool. But no computer is going to be able to figure. I mean,
well, maybe. But
then you have to like solve the chess computer. It's a lot of work.
You have to park Deep Blue or Watson next to your computer to post a comment on the blog saying first.
I love the custom captchas. Actually, VLSI also has the same thing.
So
complicated stuff.
This is Mow the Resistor, and if you go on our site, you can comment on the blog, and this is what it looks like. So we're really proud of this because we want to teach people and also have them comment.
And it works even better on mobile devices now.
Yeah, it works great. Okay, next up, some news in the world of open source hardware.
Okay.
You ready?
Nice logo.
Okay. So first thing is the Open Source Hardware Association checked their site. They have a whole big article about which Creative Commons licenses are compatible with open source hardware. That's actually really important.
I'm really glad they got around to talking about that.
Yeah, it's really important because we kept getting asked. And so, like, let me just give you the gist of it. Basically, if you can't make derivatives...
Ask me what license we use.
And you can't... if you can't make derivatives and your license is non-commercial, can't work with open source hardware. Lady Ada, what Creative Commons license do you use for your open source hardware?
When we publish firmware and hardware for open source hardware files, knowing full well that you can't necessarily protect hardware because of schematics are not protectable in a certain way, and like board layouts might be mask layouts, whatever, blah, blah. But all the stuff that we publish either under a well-known open source license, such as MIT, GPL, LGPL, or BSD. Usually depends on what we're deriving it from. We usually match their license, so it's like, if it's BSD, we stick with BSD. If it's GPL, we stick with GPL. And for schematics and hardware layouts and other documentations, when we publish them under Creative Commons attribution share alike. So all the board files that we have and the other firmware or whatever CAD files that we put on GitHub, if it's on GitHub, it's attribution share alike. Okay.
So anyways, check it out. Check it out. And now I have a link to send people because I started keeping a little text file. So I have a question for you. When you publish code and you make it open source, what's your favorite license to use?
You know what? I can't pick a license because I love all my licenses equally. Oftentimes when we pick a license, it's because we're deriving something from GPL or LGPL, and so we stick with it. Or MIT or BSD. We tend to go with MIT or BSD unless there's a really good reason for GPL or LGPL. Sometimes there is, but in general, whenever we publish stuff, by default, we go with MIT or BSD, which is, they're very loose license. You can do a lot. You can pretty much do anything. In fact, some people even take BSD license stuff and they like relicense it under GPL, which I'm not so into. But like, I don't do that. And then once in a while, I think we had to use Apache because something we used was Apache derived. But in general, MIT or BSD, I think, is the most flexible, especially with like, what does it mean to have sources available on like a chip? Is it like, do you write the URL on the chip? It gets so complicated. I think BSD and MIT are pretty straightforward.
Yeah. The MIT one.
MIT it's even more permissive than BSD.
It's pretty easy.
It pretty much goes GPL, LGPL, BSD, MIT, and public domain.
Yeah. Okay.
Ish.
All right. Next up.
In flexibility.
More on the world of open source hardware. Bunny's laptop hit $700,000. It's happening. The goal was $500,000.
Oh yeah.
They hit 700,000.
We
Congratulations.
got one, right? Did we order one?
We're gonna probably sell them.
We're probably gonna sell them.
Yeah. So congratulations, Bunny and Sean. This is fantastic news. The other thing that's really cool is... I think with
crowd supply, you can buy it after the thing is over.
The cost is 10% more, so you can still buy these.
Yeah, so you can still get them, but you're not part of the crowdfunding
Very smart.
campaign.
So, what a great thing.
As open source as possible.
Does the world want an open source laptop? Turns out...
$500,000 says yes.
$700,000
$700,000, wow, they really... Last I checked was $500K.
Yeah.
This is, you know, if it was on... and what's interesting is, like, I don't want to... Also, I have no favorite crowdsourcing or crowdfunding platform, but you know, Crowd Supply is not as well known as Kickstarter. I believe if it was on Kickstarter, it would have probably blown up even more.
Maybe it's just a different audience. Maybe the people that are on Crowd Supply,
they're more hacker friendly.
They're more hacker friendly. We're on Kickstarter. Maybe it would need to be like an album or like something a little bit more pop culturally.
I think also the people from Crowd Supply also they realize that this is, you know, you're going to be able to get it later, which I really like. It's like you can always. If you didn't miss out, also like Bunny has had a very successful crowd supply project already. He did the circuit stickers, the Chibitronic circuit stickers, which we will also be carrying, and he even shipped them on time, which bodes quite well. On time, on budget. Okay, next up, Lady Ada. This was announced at Maker Faire. It's part of open source hardware in Arduino, so I just want to spend a minute on it. This is the Arduino Zero. Of course, when they're in stock, for us to purchase from Arduino. I do not have one.
We'll have them in the store. We don't know any...
Although I actually would sign up for the beta for this.
We don't know the ETA or the pricing, but Lady Ada, what is this for the folks at home?
Okay, given that I am not on the Arduino team and I have no details beyond what has been published, this is a new Arduino in the classic Arduino form factor that is based on the ATSAM21D series, which is an ARM Cortex-M0. So it's not an AVR 8-bit. I think it's a 32-bit. It might be 16-bit. I'm pretty sure that all the Cortex M0s have to be 32-bit. And it also runs at 32 megahertz. And it also has like a lot of extras that the Cortex M0s have. You can program it with JTAG. It's got an onboard debug chip, which is the little BGA chip over there, which is kind of a little unusual thing. I don't exactly know what's up with that, but I guess there's an onboard debugging system. It looks like it has a nice power supply there. I see an inductor, which usually means there's either there's probably a buck converter. It runs at 3 volts because like ARM Cortex M0s, I think the core all run on 3-volt logic. But you know what I'm hoping about this is that I think it will probably be a lower cost because the Cortex M0s are fairly cheap compared to the ATMLs, but or at least at the same price, but much more powerful. So I'm actually pretty excited about this. I think this is a really great direction for them to go. I also like the TC3, which is another ARM Cortex core chip, although I don't remember what core it is. Maybe it's an M3 core. I actually don't remember off the top of my head. Check out the Freescale docs. But having the Due, which is like really powerful, having the Yun, which is kind of Linuxy based, having the Tray, which is another more less routery Linux and more like single board computer Linux based. The routery. Classic, well, it's because it's like a Wi-Fi router. It basically uses a Wi-Fi router chip. I think it's a routery. Routery. Not a rotary, a routery. And then the Mega, which is like Standby Classic, the Micro. I think right now that there's a really nice wide range of Arduinos. I'm actually looking forward to this one a lot. I think this will be really interesting. I've worked pretty hard on making all of the shields that we've designed, all the projects, be as agnostic as possible to the underlying Arduino core. So we're doing less register manipulation, even if it comes at a cost of speed, more using like hardware SPI, using hardware I2C, because those are the things that they have to maintain in order to have them be backwards compatible. So yeah, I think this will be really cool. I'm hoping to get one. If there's a beta, I'll probably sign up.
All right, next up. if you happen to be in Brooklyn, there is a Making It in NYC. It's in the Brooklyn Naval Yard. It's a amazing space. If you go all the way up to the top floor, there's an exhibit, and you'll see Tech and Media, and it's all about the current things that people are making. It has a past manufacturing history of Brooklyn and New York, and now has a present and maybe the future. And in there, if you look really close, there's an exhibit with a Flora and a Minty Boost. And Adafruit Industries is there. Flora Minty Boost, Manhattan, 2005, 50 employees. We actually have more now. So that is...
At the time of publication.
Yeah, this was a while ago. So this is there, and if you're interested in seeing this exhibit, it's fantastic. A great building and museum dedicated to the Naval Yard. It's one of the few places you can go into with public access, and the space is just phenomenal. And it has an entire history of all of Brooklyn's manufacturing. Absolutely incredible. Next up, Adafruit Learning System. 491 tutorials, Lady Ada. What are we going to do when we get to 500?
We're going to maybe get some cupcakes. I don't know.
Okay, so tell me about
500 cupcakes.
So we got a bunch to go through here. Tell me about them.
I know. Today, this week, it's been a while since we had a bunch of tutorials, but we're gonna cram through a whole bunch of them, and there's even more coming this week. There's like another 3 or 4. So yeah, very exciting. First up is getting started with Rtl Sdr. This is a single Rtl, which is the Realtek. I think Realtek is the name of the company. And SDR is a software-defined radio. So we have these little SDR radio dongles. They're receivers only, but they're like super, super fun. Like it's just a really easy way to like tune into all sorts of frequencies and very wide, very wide band receivers. And I just show how to get started. There's a couple tutorials out there, but I wanted to just have our own tutorial with her, step by step with the photos, and I wanted to go through it myself to make sure that customers had a guaranteed way to get started. So we just show how to. Under Windows, download the software, SDR Sharp, which is a really awesome software, open source software. Fix up the driver. You have to kind of tweak the driver to uninstall the TV driver and install this wideband driver. And then how to tune into FM radio and decode our radio data service, RBDS, our RDS data that comes in, as well as also, and that's wideband FM. And then also, because it's wideband, you can tune into other frequencies. So then I show how to tune into the weather radio, the same weather radio that's broadcast here in the U.S. These are, there's radio stations all over the country, and maybe even all over North America or the world. You can tune in, and it has a repetitive weather alert system, so you can always tune in and get the weather. And it's a narrow band FM radio, but I show you how to do that as well. So you can see how this is really, really flexible. We'll have more tutorials, but this is just getting started guide.
Handy. Okay. And then next up, here's a nice little animation. Meep. This is a little Zumabot. And this is made with Simulink.
Yeah,
so if you want to program your Zumabot and use PID control, this little tutorial.
This is from Simulink. This is Anuja, I think. Anuja, who I don't know exactly how to pronounce. Sorry. Who is showing how to do Simulink with Arduino projects. This is a Simulink plus Arduino in the form of a Zumabot. I mean, I don't personally do Simulink, but they volunteered to do a couple tutorials, and I thought, hey, this is more information for people. Some people may be in school and have access or using Simulink. So yeah, check it out.
Okay. Next up, this is as seen on the show and tell. This is the free wire 3x3x3 NeoPixel cube. So this is an RGB LED NeoPixel cube, and you can make it for like under $35, which is completely low cost compared to all the other ways to make LED cubes.
This is pretty low cost because it's a trinket, which is like $8, and then the NeoPixels, which I think are about $1 each.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like compared to, and the wiring is like so much easier. There's no shift registers. There's just one wire, controls the entire thing.
It's a deal at twice the price. Okay. And the tutorials are free.
Live.
Okay, you finished up this one last week. This was a monster. This is the Adafruit Music Maker Shield.
I know. It took me a little while to get through this tutorial. There's just a lot of stuff going on here.
First off, what does the Adafruit Music Maker Shield do? Does it make music?
It does. It's a kind of a powerful shield for an Arduino or Arduino compatible that uses the VS1053 chip, which is an MP3 OGG, FLAC, AAC, WAVE, and Midi player, as well as a WAVE or OGG recording chip. So this chip can do a lot of stuff. It's a codec chip, it's an encoder and decoder, and what's nice about it is it takes all the heavy-duty work of decoding compressed audio like MP3 off of the back of an Arduino, which can't really do on-the-fly MP3 decoding. It's actually quite difficult to do it on such a small 8-bit processor. Maybe a Duo could do it, maybe, with a little bit of effort. But definitely with this chip, it's super easy. You just stream the audio data from the SD card into the chip, and it just automatically decodes it, which is really, really nice. So this Shield has the chip, level shifting, has GPIOs, breakouts, and there's also a version with onboard stereo 3-watt amplifier, so you can directly connect some 3-watt speakers, and it automatically amplifies them, or you can just plug in headphones as shown in this little image here. So the Shield just shows you how to put it together, how to install the software, all the different things like turning it into a Midi synthesizer. It has a couple hundred Midi instruments built in, a library reference, just playing music as you'd expect, all that good stuff.
This is a big, giant tutorial.
Big tutorial.
If you guys ever want to do anything involving music and Arduino, Lady Ada
it's really straightforward, and it's really low cost. You can get the basic Shield for like $30. I kind of want to make it compete with the Wave Shield. The Wave Shield, it can only play wave. It doesn't do compressed audio, but...
I like it when we compete against ourselves. We're like, yeah, Flora, look at this thing. We're like, no, we got Gemma. Like, oh, no, we got a Wave Shield. No, we got the Music Maker.
Yeah.
All right. 2 more tutorials. This one just came in today. This is fantastic. If anyone's ever interested in injection molding, we did the unthinkable, the impossible perhaps. Mike Dole, our designer, posted a complete guide on injection molding and what goes into it, and this is our Raspberry Pi case.
Yeah, it's just a tour. I mean, and it's not going to teach you how to design injection molded case.
There's no teaching with that particular thing. All there is doing, and there's people who've done it forever, and he exposes that, and he shows, I think, how intense this is.
What I didn't know is that he modeled the cables as well. You know, you have to make a 3D model of all the devices. And he shows like basically the process of how we did this Raspberry Pi case, this was our first injection molded project. Injection molds cost like $20,000, $30,000 to get made. Our mold is in Canada. It's this gigantic steel cube, and then we have the insert that's actually machined. But it's a beautiful case. I think it's the most beautiful case for Raspberry Pi. It's also really good quality, very durable, and low cost, which allows us to lower the cost of our kits because we don't have to like laser cut a case anymore. So he goes through the process of what he did to do this. There's a couple steps, a lot of photos that he took. And I don't know, it's very interesting for people who want to know how injection molding works.
Okay. Next up on our tour of tutorials.
Tutorial tour? This
is the Adafruit motor selection guide. This is another handy one because we always get asked, what motor should I use for what? So this is the guide that helps you pick the right motor.
We already have a stepper. We already had like a stepper motor guide, I think, but this is a guide, you know, like how to control stepper. But this is a guide just on the different kinds of motors that you may experience or want to use, such as servos, brushless, steppers, geared and ungeared, continuous rotation servos, all these different kinds of servos. It kind of takes a guide tour with these really beautiful photos. All these kinds of different motors and which ones you can use are motor shields or servo drivers with. Like we don't have anything for brushless motors. We don't really do brushless stuff here in-house. We might eventually, and we'll update the guide when that comes up. But if you're interested, like, what are all these kinds of different motors? And like, when would I want to use a servo? When would I want to use a stepper? What is a brushless motor better at than a brushed motor? Check out this guide.
Yeah, and as someone pointed out in the chat, not only is it a great guide, but it's a family photo of motors.
So really, that's a nice collection of motors.
It's a yearbook picture
from different motors,
from Motor High School. Okay, so next up, Time Travel Tuesday. Every Tuesday we look back in the world of making, hacking, science, and more. This week, 1913, William Regington Hewitt, American engineer, co-founded Hewlett-Packard, was born. Now, here's the cool thing. You'll like this. What the company was founded on is this cool hack that he did, which was to make a variation of a bridge oscillator. He used
bridge oscillator,
negative resistance on an incandescent lamp to act as a parasitic impedance with the feedback lobe. And so apparently at the time, none of the oscillators produced a steady oscillation. And so this is where the company was born. And that was they had a first product. They built the company around this.
I keep on seeing these, you know, like whenever you look up like how to make like a sine wave, like the incandescent bulb projects always you always get the schematic from like some Art Electronics or like MIM's book. But like, who the hell has an incandescent bulb anymore? Like, it's actually always been like, oh, like I can't build this. But yeah, it's very interesting, interesting hack using the nonlinear response of
Yeah.
A light bulb.
Yeah. What's interesting is the contrast of what HP was founded on, this engineering company, what they've become now, which, you know, debatable. Like, what do they actually make? Maybe printers or, you know, things like that.
They don't probably even make printers. I think that's also. I mean, I don't.
Rebranded.
Yeah, I don't know actually.
It's
what
interesting,
they make.
but they're still around. Still amazing.
They are the original, you know, garage maker.
Yeah, and then
company.
there was Packard Bell.
Yeah.
Came out later. Anyways, all these types of companies that come out.
HP.
Yeah. Next up, Orbital Wednesday, we have three quick things. On Lifehacker right now, you can see how Becky Stern works, how I work. It's an interview with Becky on Lifehacker.
How's she work?
Very carefully.
Okay.
Surrounded by electronics.
Whoa, what's this?
This is an article on Yahoo, and it's about what is happening with wearables. So wearable electronics and wearable technology is becoming a form of activism because privacy is being invaded. And so there's all these different things that people are making, building, they're hacking their phones, they're doing all sorts of things. This is, you print out these masks and you walk around, so when the cameras see you, it looks like someone else.
Yeah, these are like super creepy.
Yeah, they're very creepy too.
But like you were totally full camera.
Yeah, so check out this article. It's really good about where wearables could be going.
Okay.
And then last up, this is a shot from Maker Faire. This is a Flora on shoes, firewalkers walking around at Maker Faire. This is really neat. So Maker Faire was just this weekend. Lots of wearable electronics projects. We scoured the internet, tried to find cool photos. Lots of Adafruit stuff.
We couldn't make it, but
yeah,
we were there in spirit and in parts.
Yeah. Okay. Next
Wherever
up.
a Flora is, we are there.
Yeah. All right, 3D printing. I have one thing that I want to mention. This is the article that Matt wrote. This is a 3D designer spotlight, Michael Curry. He's the one who just printed a 3D car.
Yeah,
it's gigantic.
Cool.
It's like this big. And
it's like a 70-pound car or something.
So check out this profile of one of the most prolific 3D printers. Not the printer itself, the person who does the printing on the Adafruit blog. And last but not least, before we go on to the next section, is Pi Day. So this is a self-contained projector. I thought this was cool because you can put a Raspberry Pi and put all the things, so the computer is the projector. So everything is all in one.
Yeah, you can use like SSH in,
Yeah.
or like, you know, you run XBMC or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe that'll be the future where the computers are so cheap now where there's a computer inside the projector and it shows up as a hard drive and you just like, maybe it's like a Dropbox. Dropbox should make projectors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dropbox TV?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then what we'd like to do is announce a special new video. For those of you who don't know, Collins Lab is back in full swing. And that means new Collins Lab videos.
Oh, yeah.
And this week, we're going to debut here on the show, and it was also on the site, Collins Lab Midi.
Midi.
Let's take a look, shall we?
Musical instrument digital interface.
Or simply MIDI. It's the standard language spoken by digital music controllers. A MIDI controller, like this one, sends data over to my computer every time I press a key or release a key. But MIDI messages don't contain any actual audio data. They simply describe input from the user, such as when a note begins, ends, how hard a key was pressed, or some other control that was changed by the user. All of the audio data here is stored on my computer. MIDI simply tells the computer what sample to play and when. Originally, MIDI was designed to be used over one of these 5-pin DIN cables. But nowadays, MIDI controllers are more likely to send data over a standard USB cable. Though it's a different hardware connection, it's basically the same MIDI messages being sent. Oh, and speaking of
MIDI messages,
a basic MIDI message consists of 3 bytes, each byte containing 8 bits. For example, let's take a look at a note on message. The first byte is called a status byte, and it describes what kind of message is being sent and what channel it's being sent on. The second byte tells us which note is being controlled, and the third byte tells us how hard the note was pressed, This is known as velocity. Additional MIDI message types include note off events, pitch bend, and other controller messages such as modulation. But MIDI messages don't have to be sent from a keyboard. You can use a microcontroller, like this Arduino board, to send any MIDI messages you want.
MIDI with microcontrollers.
Here I have an Arduino sending MIDI note messages to a music maker shield, which interprets those messages just like a computer and plays back audio samples. But instead of keyboard keys determining which notes are played, the Arduino is using readings from a small photo sensor to determine each note's pitch. For something a bit more practical, we could use these piezo triggers as drum pads. So MIDI is not limited to just keyboards. You can do a lot with it. It's quite versatile. I like it so much that I named my cat Midi. No, really, I did. Midi, Midi, come here, come here, come here.
And we're back.
Starring Midi.
Yeah.
Midi the cat.
All right. So, another excellent video from Colin. He's filming another one shortly. You guys are in for some fun because there's a lot. Before we go on the new products, don't forget the code is Internet World Week.
Internet Week. New York.
IWNY.
In we.
You can use
Do we need-
Bitcoins. The free stuff's still going on.
Okay.
It's all happening.
All right. All right.
It's new product time.
New products.
Okay, so last week we showed a lot of the Gawking kits.
Yes.
So this week I have two Gawking videos.
Okay, your little videos.
Two Gawking videos. The first one is the Gawking guitar.
Electric
because
guitar kit.
You and I don't play the guitar, but we have people on the staff here, and they built the Gawking guitar, and
Yep.
here is a video. Okay. And then if
Jamming out.
that noise didn't get you, this one will. This is the video that we shot about the Gawking theremin, and these kits are great for young people, youngsters and oldsters, everybody.
Yeah, they could actually meant to be built by like grade school kids.
Science kit for adults. So here is the next video.
All right, play your theremin.
The musical stylings of Alon Shapiro. Okay, next up, we have a new product announcement. It's not in the store quite yet, but it's
Sign
on its
up.
way. You sign up now, you'll get these. These are going to be going like Arduino hotcakes.
This is the Little Bits Arduino
right.
module. This is for the Little Bits system, which I think is really interesting. So this is, basically a method for programming your little bits, interacting with your little bits using Arduino. It's not as powerful, as an Arduino. No, the pins are brought out, but there's 3 analog outputs, known as PWM outputs, and then 3 analog inputs. And then you can actually do some like pretty intense manipulations using Arduino by, doing delay loops or like nonlinear control or mapping or like whatever on earth you possibly want to do. You can do it with this Arduino module, and it's an Arduino at Heart project. And I think it'll be really exciting. There'll be some really good tutorials. This adds controllability, programmability to Little Bits, which I think, is really good. I mean, Little Bits has the simplicity of all analog design, and then they've added some more complicated bits since then, and now they're going full on Arduino.
Yeah. Next up. New
Maker
book by
Dad.
Mark Farnfelder. This is Maker Dad. This is father-daughter DIY project. It can, of course, be mother-son or
well,
father-son.
he is a father,
and he only has daughters.
And he only has daughters.
Yeah.
So when he wanted to write a book, I think that he was like, well, let's do a book that has to do, that reflects the kind of projects that I do with my daughters, and they're fine for any kind of kid. You can have grandmothers do them with nephews. You can have, sisters and brothers even do them.
Yeah.
An older brother.
But you know what I like?
Sister.
Is there so many like father and son books?
Yeah,
for so
this
long.
is
This
a
is
break.
father and daughter, and we had people request this book, so we stocked it.
My father and I did projects together all the time.
Yeah, that's probably why you're the engineer you are. Okay.
Check it out.
Next up. Now on to some hardware, Lady Ada. So
Okay.
we got a couple different types of these. So I'm just going to show some beautiful photos first.
Okay.
So what are
show the
these?
project. These are like sort of DIY connectors for audio. And these are sort of, we're actually going to get more of them, but these are the 3 most difficult to get or most universal in a way. So we're starting with these. So let's start at the beginning. Can you go to the beginning? So this one is a 2.5 millimeter stereo audio. So 2.5 millimeter stereo audio is often used in like audio recorders and some cell phones, hands-free stuff. I just see it once in a while. It's a little thin version of what we normally call like a stereo jack. And then if you go to the previous image,
Which one?
the previous image, can you zoom out?
Do you mean the one? Do you mean the previous is in the one before the one you saw?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you? Yeah, there you go. Okay. So if we zoom out, because I want to show how these work. They all have this similar construction. Thank you. Oh wow, look at this. This is fancy. So they all have this 3-piece construction. There is the connector part on the very left, and you can see there's the tip, ring, and then ground connector. And the ground is connected to the case ground. So this is a fully grounded connector, which is actually pretty good, I think. Usually the ground is connected to the metal casing anyways of a product. And you see there's 3 tabs. There's a big ground tab and 2 littler tabs that you can solder any wires to. So you can use a stranded core wire, 22 gauge to 30 gauge is probably fine. You can go thicker than if you want, but those are pretty standard gauges that people would use. And then you can crimp the wires on, and then they slide into the middle part, which is, you can see there's a spring, and I'll show the metal spring later on the overhead. And the metal base screws in, and then it's like a nice solid metal connection. These are really, really durable, and the spring provides very good strain relief. And what I like about the spring is that it's flexible enough to give good strain relief no matter what kind of wire you're using. And when you put it together, the spring is kind of held at the back. So this is the 2.5 millimeter stereo audio for like cellular stuff and maybe some other like weird connectors, audio recorders. Next up, we also have
this one.
No, this one.
Which one?
No,
This is that one.
Yeah, this one.
This one?
Yep. Stop. This is a stereo This is a 4 connector TRS tip ring sleeve, 3.5 millimeter. This is, well, I mean, these are traditionally known as like smartphone or smart whatever tablet audio connectors. So it has ground, microphone, as well as left and right. So you can use this with a TRS standard stereo tip ring sleeve audio, but a lot of times if you want to connect to like an iPhone or a phone or a tablet or something else that has a microphone as well as audio, or maybe it has like a differential stereo, I don't know, so they have something different, you'll need a 4 connector. So here you go. You can also, again, you can use this in a 3-pin socket if you need to. Just leave the second ring disconnected.
Okay.
And then finally,
what else do you want me to show?
the last one. This is a 1/4 inch 6.35 millimeter. Can you also zoom out?
Yeah, I can do that right now.
Yeah. Thanks. Yay. Yeah, this is like a big connector, so that's a big photo. This is a stereo. They are kind of used for like often for like headphone jacks or audio equipment. This is a stereo type, but again, you can use it for mono. Just don't use like one of the channels. So left, right, and ground. But yeah, like if you're building modulars, you'll use this. If you're building, synthesizers, or you're dealing with like big headphone jacks, chances are you'll end up with this connector. So these are really great for making your own cables. Actually, you were using these connectors for a while to make my own cables, and I was like, I should probably have them in the store. They're very handy. Okay, I'm just actually going to click through. Next up, we have...
What? What's going on?
Oh, because I want to do them in a certain order.
Oh, okay. Do you want me to get rid of us first?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, great. Click through.
Yeah, so we have next a bunch of bar graph connectors. These are 10 LED bar graph connectors. You can see them. They're actually just 10 LEDs, and they're molded into plastic, and they plug very nicely into a breadboard, which I'll show you. And then we have them in a variety of colors: amber, pure green, which is the bluer green, not the yellow green, blue, and then a really bright white. They're just handy to use in a breadboard. The pins are nice and long. They're a 0.1 inch spacing, and let me show the demo on the overhead because it's actually
it's overhead time.
Overhead time. So you'll need to hold on, turn on this light, and then maybe is it focused? Okay. So this is a bar graph, and I have this connected on an Arduino, which is just battery powered. And then as I turn this trim knob, you can see the LEDs light up. And it's just, I just have like one resistor per LED. So this is the white bar graph. You see it's a very nice white color. And then let me plug in, this is I think blue. No, this is amber. This is the amber one.
That's a cool demo.
All right, amber. And then we also have the pure green. Oh, got it backwards. Don't forget, they're just like LEDs, so you have to put them in the right way or they're backwards. The green, which is really, really bright.
Bing, bing, bing. That's cool.
Green. And then I also have blue. So we got these colors in first. And we're also going to get red and yellow-green. But actually, these were the other ones weren't bright enough for me, so I had the factory like remake them, and in the meantime, we just got the bright blue, white, green, pure green, and amber.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that's it on that.
Okay, next up.
Yeah, next up. So the other thing that we have, I guess because you just showed it, do you want me to just go to this?
Let's go to the potentiometer.
This is what you just showed.
Yeah. So this is a panel mount potentiometer. I'm not quite sure why it's being shown in like the ground line of the breadboard, but you can plug it into any part of the breadboard. It has a 0.2 inch spacing. It's also panel mount, which is kind of nice. You can connect it onto. It comes with a locking nut. If you go to the next photo, comes with a locking nut and washer, so you can panel mount it. So you can use it in a breadboard, as you saw here, or to do my demo, or you can panel mount it. We have it in 1K, 10K, and 100K. So there you go, all the Ks.
And just real quick, I'm going to click through these. So these are the photos of the bar graphs, really close up, just in case you wanted to see them. We spent a lot of time on these photos.
You can also go to the product page and see them in like 3,000 pixels size.
Okay, next up.
Next up.
We've got these little, these are so handy. These are the little DIY USB packs or kits. So what would you call this? Like they're little.
Yeah, these are also, they're like the audio connectors. They're like DIY connectors. Yeah. So if you want to make your own USB cable, or you have to do some sort of DIY USB connection, which always seems to happen. Like I'm always making like weird custom cables, or like I have a breadboard, Arduino or something, and I want to connect a USB connector to it, or I'm doing some power thing and I want a a USB A jack or B jack. We already have these in 2-piece snap together, and these are they're like slim style. They're a little tougher to use because they press fit in. But they're also a lot more elegant, and they're less likely to kind of come apart. Although the other ones, I haven't had them come apart, but like these are a little bit more durable, I think. And they're also slimmer, but they're also tougher to use because you have to solder the wires, and instead of a sandwich, it actually slides in from the end. So like once you kind of put it together, it's really hard to undo. So we have these in micro USB.
Oh, okay.
Standard micro USB B, and then we have them in A.
This one?
Yep. Which is standard like male A style. And then you can see in this photo, go back one. You can see the connector you had to solder. You see the little solder tabs on the connector, like right below fill, right there. And then there's also a little strain relief guy. These are like kind of Apple style or like Samsung style cables. A little more elegant. And then this one's a weird one. This is actually used for, I think, like, you put it into like an injection molding or like some sort of molding. It's actually a micro B socket. which is rare. But I kind of found this at the same factory that makes the other connectors. So if you want to make something where maybe you could use like Sugru to make your own micro USB
that's a good
socket.
idea.
And the connectors are pretty easy to solder to too. You can sort of see them there. Maybe, back one. Yeah, that one. They stick out. Oh, hide me. Yeah. You can see where my face was. There's 5 pins that stick out. So that's, you can use 30 gauge wire and connect to it pretty easily. So you can do your own socket connector. I don't know. I don't have any particular use for this one, but I thought other people might find it handy.
Yeah.
Look at those big connectors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we're going to go like 4 minutes over on the show for some questions, but we have
we got
a
some
couple more
speakers.
products. Yeah. So next up, speakers.
Thin speakers. I'll just show you on the overhead because these are pretty small.
Okay.
These are thin little speakers. We have 2 kinds. One is a teenier metal speaker. I don't have an audio demo for this. You just have to believe me. And this is a teeny audio speaker. It's about 1 inch in diameter. It doesn't have as wide of a range for the speaker. It goes only 600 to 10K, but it's half a watt. It's fairly loud. And then we also have this sort of thin plastic speaker, which is a little bit lighter, actually, but it's also bigger. So it's going to be a little bit louder. It also has a wider range. These are actually designed for use in, both of these are designed for use in talking greeting cards, like when you go to the store and you can record a message or just plays a song when you open it. So they're super skinny, but they're pretty good quality. I'm happy with these guys. We're going to do some future projects with them. Also, people wanted to use speakers, basically the Drawdio speaker. Yeah. They wanted to use it in their own projects, and I'm like, well, we don't have that, and now we do.
Let's say if we were going to release an open source phone thing, that would be very handy.
Yeah, this would be like your speaker. So it's quarter watt and 0.5 watt, and they're 8 ohm speakers each.
I sure hope we're working on an open source phone thing. So here's a couple photos.
Nice photos. Comes with wires, pre-attached.
Yeah,
nice.
Okay, and then last up, a new Productville. What is this?
This is an altimeter. This is a barometric pressure sensor based on the Freescale, I believe is the company, MPL 3115A2, which sounds and looks a lot like the MPL 115, but it's actually the 3115, which is a lot more precise. This is an I2C barometric pressure sensor, and it's good enough that you can actually use it as an altimeter. It can tell you your altitude. So good for wearable projects or the projects where maybe you want to be very precise about the barometric pressure, which is used for weather sensing or what altitude you're at. Also, you have these wearables that tell you how many stairs you climbed or whatever. So you can use something like this to tell the altitude that you've moved. Yeah. This one can do, I think, 0.5 meter resolution compared to the BMP 180, which can do a 1/4 meter resolution. I don't know that. I know that this is less precise than BMP 180 or 183, but it's very close. It's also maybe easier to use because you don't have to do weird calibration, reading and writing. With the BMP 180, there's a lot of code involved in getting the data into altimeter mode. This actually, you just set a bit and say altimeter mode, and it does all the calculations for you, which is actually what the BMP 180 should do, but for some reason didn't. This is very easy, and then you just read meters off of it. So if you want to keep it simple, this is a really good altimeter.
Thus concludes new products. Turn out the light on. You probably want to buy some of these things now. The code is IWNY Internet Week New York. We are going to do a speed round of questions.
Okay.
Lady Ada. By the way, here's a little preview. This is a little not out. It's not out yet. Don't ask. That was that segment. That's done. Okay. Anyways, now on to questions.
If you have 3D printed demon horns, you kind of have to wear a tuxedo.
All right. So ask your questions. We'll go through them as fast as we can. We got to get out of here, and we also have to give some stuff away. So here we go. How would you recommend hacking into a film-based ribbon cable?
Like a flex cable. You can actually check out Bunny's reverse engineering book. He talks about how to scratch off and tap into flex circuits and high-speed circuits.
Okay, this one. Any updates when the Fona cellular shield will be available? Excited to get my hands on it.
It's not out
you're
yet.
not supposed to talk about it, and I'm going to say it's nacho business. I stole that from someone in the chat.
It's not out yet, so don't ask. But we are working on it.
Yeah.
It's tough. We had to do 4 revisions to get the quality and design we want.
We're working on it. It's gonna be awesome. You guys are gonna love it. We have some big ideas on what a phone could be, Someone in the
hopefully
chat.
in the next few months.
And then someone in the chat said there's a new Fruit phone on the market. Watch out, Apple.
Yeah.
Okay, next up. My Samsung appliances play happy songs instead of loud alarms. Does the Samsung pick and place machines play happy songs too?
They do not. They have loud alarms.
It's
I
beep.
wish it would like do like do 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 and like no, that's like
Next
a
up.
rice cooker.
Can you program a batch of Arduinos using the blue fruit simultaneously?
Ooh. You can do it. What you would do is you would connect the TX pin from the blue fruit and the reset pin to multiple Arduinos and only connect the RX pin to one of them. And then you'd cross your fingers because there's no verification of the firmware.
Yeah, okay.
But it will probably work.
Okay.
Ish.
Someone wanted to know, is the one of the products is the anode or cathode? I guess it was for the LEDs.
For the LEDs, there's 10 LEDs and there's 10 anodes and there's 10 cathodes. They're just in a row. Just like 10 individual LEDs.
Okay. This concludes our speed round of questions. Thank you so much, everyone.
Speed
All
round.
right. So it's trivia question time. Lady Ada, what are the rules for trivia question time?
Okay. Rules are, if you've won before, even if you've won something fabulous but you want more fabulousness, you can't enter. We have only one winner per lifetime. The first person to type in the correct answer into the chat will be watching both the YouTube and the Ustream chats. Whoever we see first wins the fabulous prize, which is a copy of MakerDad.
Yep. Okay.
What do I mean?
Yep.
Yeah, MakerDad. You'll get this copy of MakerDad, which is a great project book for any two people who want to build projects together. They do not even need to be related.
They could be friends or enemies.
They can be. It can be anything. This is like you can be like Batman and his ward Robin. It can be anything you want.
I always thought that people who don't like each other should be forced to do a project together because I think that would solve a lot of problems. But it doesn't work out when they don't.
That's like
really-
school.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, okay. So let's give this away. The trivia question is, on Time Travel Tuesday, we talked about HP.
Yes.
Origins of the company. What was the first HP product?
The name of it.
The name of the first HP product.
You can't just say like incandescent bulb. That's not it. You got to look at the blog post.
So I'm going to look in the chat, and I'm going to award this book to the first person to type in the name of the first HP product. If you want to, you can go to adafruit.com/blog, and you can look on Time Travel Tuesday. You could type Time Travel Tuesday in search, and you'll see the latest one. And then you'll figure out, well, no, not the year. Steak sauce is not the answer.
I really want some steak sauce.
No, what is the first product, the name
What's
of it?
the first
Yeah,
product?
the name of it.
The first product they made.
Thingy.
HP thingy?
They had a better name for it. So let's see what folks come up with. This is what we're looking for right here, lady.
Yeah. HP's first.
Audio oscillator, the Model 280, which I think,
Okay, I'm alright with that.
which one do you want to go with? Audio oscillator?
No,
Or
the Model
one-
200.
Okay, it's
Decoded abode.
Decode Abode. Email support@adafruit.com. You win this book. Congratulations.
Model 200A.
All right.
I'll take that Model 200A audio oscillator.
All right, email
Okay.
support@adafruit.com and mention that you won, and you get the MakerDad book. Now, thank you, everyone. It's time for us to close the show down.
We gotta go.
Put Adafruit Factory to sleep. Thank you, everyone. Don't forget the code is IWNY. This is live until 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Internet Week.
Please do it now if you're going to order. Don't forget, we take Bitcoins. Got our free offers. Monday we're closed, but we're taking orders, and we're going to ship everything on Tuesday.
Soup, soup, soup.
We're going to be here next week. We wanted to thank everyone, the community and audience out there, the folks who are working here at Adafruit right now at night, the Adafruit folks that are around the world, all of the team members, all of the customers that make Adafruit run. You're the ones who help keep the lights on here. And we'll see everybody next week. Okay. Here is a picture of a cat. Meow. And here is your moment of Zener.